Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of What to Do with All These Eggs. Beautiful, aren't they? Hopefully you can see these colors, the blue and the green. Hopefully you can see that. In case you don't know who I am, I'm Angela from Art of Creation Homestead. Welcome to our kitchen. So today, as part of this series, as you can see, I have 7 eggs laid out here in front of me. This recipe is a dream for those of us who have a lot of eggs right now. What I am making today is a flourless chocolate cake. They are so delicious. They are rich and fudgy, kind of like a cross between a chocolate truffle and a brownie, a fudgy brownie. Or a piece of fudge and a chocolate brownie. It has like a mousse, like a thicker mousse type texture. It just melts in your mouth. It is absolutely to die for. If you are a chocolate lover like I am, you will want to make this. And for those of you who are gluten-free, this is definitely for you because there is no gluten in this. It's the perfect dessert for you if you are a chocolate lover like I am. In this bowl we have 1 stick and 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, which is 1 1/4 sticks of unsalted butter. And this right here, you'll notice they're pretty dark. That is an 11.5 ounce bag of extra dark chocolate chips. You can use extra dark, you can use dark. You're aiming for more of a bittersweet here. If you don't like bittersweet chocolate, if you like semi-sweet, I would not recommend milk here. I would not recommend milk chocolate here. It's not going to turn out right. If you want more of a semi-sweet chocolate, cut down on the amount of sugar that I tell you to put in later. You'll want to cut down on the amount of sugar, because it will be a little too sweet then, because you're adding extra sugar because of the dark chocolate. I'll show you what I'm using. This is what I'm using. Hopefully you can see that, and hopefully it's not backwards. I am using Guittard extra dark chocolate. And Guittard is just my favorite to use whenever I get it. Whenever I can find it on sale, because it is expensive. Whenever I can find it on sale, which that I got on sale. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to melt this together. Now you can do this over a double boiler, or, which means just over a pan of water, or you can do it in the microwave in 30-second intervals, where you let it go for 30 seconds, take it out and stir it. Let it go for 30 more seconds, take it out and stir it. And you keep doing that until it's completely melted and smooth. That's what I'm gonna do. It's just easier. I nearly forgot. You actually wanna start out the very first step. You wanna preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or the Celsius equivalent thereof. As you can see, it's nice and melted and wonderful. Now, this only took about 1.5 minutes in my microwave. It probably depends on how powerful your microwave is. The next step, you want to do this now while it's still hot, because you did this first because you want it to cool down. Otherwise you're going to have scrambled eggs in it, and you don't want that. Now to this, I'm going to add a teaspoon of instant espresso powder. You don't have to add this. You don't at all have to add this. All this does is intensify the chocolate flavor. You're not going to taste coffee in it, although that really wouldn't be a bad thing. You're not going to taste coffee in it. All it's going to do is intensify that chocolate flavor. But you want to add that to your melted chocolate while it's still warm. That way it can melt into it. If you don't have it, or you don't want to add it, you don't have to. It's still going to be delicious even without it. So to this, we're also gonna add a good pinch, which is about half a teaspoon of salt. Now you wanna stir that in because you want both of those things to kind of melt into that beautiful melted chocolate and melted butter, which, how can this not be good? I mean, come on, look at this. How can this not be absolutely to die for? Delicious. I mean, look at it. I guess unless you're not a chocolate lover, heaven forbid. Okay, now while that sets aside to cool, we've got a couple little things we need to do. First off, this is gonna bake in a 9-inch springform pan. If you don't know what a springform pan is, it's a pan that has this little latch right here. It has this little latch. So you open it up and the bottom falls out. See, it makes it much easier to get the cake out of the pan. If you don't have this, you could probably use a 9-inch round cake pan or a 9-inch, 8-inch or 9-inch square pan. You will just have a little more trouble getting it out of the pan because it is so fudgy. I will leave a link to springform pans in the description below. Now, first what you need to do, you need to line this pan with parchment paper. I'm gonna show you a really easy way to do that. You just wanna pull out a piece of parchment paper that's slightly bigger than the bottom of your pan. Now what you wanna do, this is like a craft project now. You fold it in half, then you fold it in half again. Then you take this, you hold it at the corner here, fold it into a triangle. Okay, there you go. Now it's in a triangle. Now you fold it into another smaller triangle. And see, now you have this. So now we're going to take this, put the point in the center of your pan, or as close as you can get to the center of your pan. And you want to cut it about ½ an inch longer than the outside of your pan. So it would be right here. Now, when we open this up, it's going to be a round that's, it's going to be a round that's going to fit in the bottom and up the sides just a little bit of your pan. See? Now what you want to do, you want to spray the inside of your pan so that it holds that down. It's going to make it come out prettier, for a prettier presentation. If you don't really care about it sticking a little bit, then don't worry about the step. But it's going to make it prettier and come out easier. It's going to be less headache on you, basically, of trying to get it out. Okay, so what we're going to do now, while our chocolate is still working on cooling, we are going to separate these 7 beautiful eggs. Okay? So we'll put 2 over here, 2 over here, and 3 over here. I don't think that's how you separate. At least I hope not. If that's the way you separate eggs, I've been doing it wrong for years. How you get your air into a flourless chocolate cake is by adding whipped egg whites. That's how you get your air into it. Your rise without flour. You will find some recipes that take a shortcut that don't do the part of whipping the air. They just add the whole eggs to the cake. It's not going to have the same texture. I'll tell you that right now. It's not going to have the beautiful crackly top, beautiful crisp crackly top. It's not going to have that. It's going to have a different texture. It's going to be more dense, and it's just going to have a different texture. You want to take this step. You don't want to skip it. Okay, I'm going to get to separating these eggs. I use the shell and shell method. I am going to put the whites in my KitchenAid bowl, or you will put them in a separate bowl for use of a mixer. So These, by the way, these are 7 large eggs. Now we're going to put the whip attachment onto our KitchenAid and get that prepared to go in just a few minutes. Okay, now in this bowl, we are going to add our melted chocolate and butter that we added the espresso powder and the salt to. Now, if you have a non-reactive bowl, you can just go ahead and melt your chocolate in that bowl. I didn't have that, so I have to transfer it to another bowl. So now we have this. Now to this, we are going to add a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And we are going to stir that in. We're going to stir that vanilla in real good. Now we are going to add those egg yolks, all 7 of them. Make sure you get all that in there, and your chocolate should be nice and cool now. Cool enough that it can handle it without scrambling the eggs, because you don't want scrambled eggs. And you want to mix that all in. At this point, I would recommend switching to a whisk to whisk those egg yolks in really good. And then to this, make sure you want to add 1 cup of granulated sugar and 1/3 of a cup of cocoa powder. As if it wasn't chocolatey enough. Now you want to mix all that in together. And it's gonna look grainy. It's gonna look weird. But that's honestly the way you want it to look. If it looks that way, then you've done it right. But I promise you, it will bake together and it will be absolutely gorgeous. Now we're going to switch back to our silicone spatula or wooden spoon, whichever you choose to use. We're going to switch back to that to make sure we got everything all incorporated. Doesn't really matter how much you mix this. You're not going to develop gluten. There's no gluten in here. So it doesn't really matter how much you mix it. Just make sure it's all mixed in together. Now, we're going to set this aside. Now we're going to whip our egg whites to stiff peaks. Okay, now we're at stiff peaks. See, guys, you can see how it's standing up like that. And also when it's at stiff peaks, you can do this. See? And it didn't come out of the bowl. You can even hold it over top of your head if you want to, and it's not going to come out of that bowl. Now, you want to take 1/3. You don't want to lose the air that you just got. You just did all of this to get this air. You don't want to lose this air. You want to take 1/3 of your egg whites. You can call those your sacrificial egg whites because you're going to lose a little bit of the air from those. And what you want to do, you want to fold those in. You're going to go down the middle and around. Now it's going to be a little stiff at first, but these egg whites are going to loosen it right up. You want to fold them in. You don't have to be as gentle with this first third, because like I've told you, these are sacrificial. So you want to split down the middle, fold over, turn your bowl. Split down the middle, fold over, turn your bowl. And you want to keep doing this until that third is all mixed in. Now your third is all mixed in, and you can see just how much it lightened it up. Well, when you add these other 2/3, it's going to lighten it even more. So what you want to do, you want to add the other 2/3 of your egg whites into your bowl. These you want to be more gentle with in the fold, because you want to lose as little air as possible. So you want to fold them in slowly. And just like I said, go down the middle, up and over. Go down the middle, up and over, turn your bowl. Go down the middle, up and over, turn your bowl. that mass of chocolate that looked like it was the center for a truffle is now this light, airy, beautiful deliciousness right there. See? Will stand up in peaks. It's so gorgeous. Look at this. It's so gorgeous. Now, we're going to bring our springform pan over here. And we're going to spray it. Spray the top of your parchment paper, which I taught you how to line. We're going to spray the top of this with more cooking spray. Be sure and spray the sides of your pan as well. And we are going to pour in our beautiful batter. Well, not so much pour, more spoon, because it's a beautiful, thick, rich batter. And it's so, you would never believe that that mass of chocolate would become so light and airy. But those egg whites do the trick. I'm telling you, whipping the egg whites first is the only way to go with flourless chocolate cake. And you want to work it out to the edges. You want to work it all the way out to the edges of your pan. Your parchment paper may wiggle around a little, but it's okay. Just gently work it out to the edges of your pan. Now we're going to pop this into a 350-degree oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. You'll know it's done when the top is all set and looks kind of crackly, and you insert a toothpick into the center and it doesn't come out clean, but it comes out with like moist crumbs and about half-baked batters. So it'll look like it's about half-baked, but that's where you want it. Okay, this beautifulness is out of the oven now. And this house smells divine. It baked for between 30 and 35 minutes. It baked, if you want to be specific, around 31, 32 minutes. But this is how you know it's done. See, you've got that nice, beautiful, shiny top. You want to poke it in the center. And when it looks like, let me get it to focus. When it looks like that, see? See those moist crumbs? See, you've got moist crumbs hanging off of your toothpick. And you've got a little bit of, looks to be half-baked batter. That's when it's perfect. Because like I said, this is going to be very fudgy. Now we're going to leave this sit with the sides of the springform pan on and leave it sit just like it is for 5 to 10 minutes to cool down just a little bit and rest. Then we are going to unmold the sides and let it finish cooling. But you are going to notice it's all puffed up and beautiful now. Because there is no flour, there is not a lot of structure there. So you're going to watch the center. The center's going to sink. Don't think you've messed it up. That's when you know it's perfect, because it's doing just what it's supposed to do. Okay, as you can see, it's kind of sunk down a little bit. There's a little bit of a ridge around the edge. And it's got nice and crunchy on the top. It's got a nice solid top. Now, to release the springform pan, all you do is pull on this latch and see, it comes right off. And see, now you have this beautiful, beautiful cake. And see, your parchment paper will peel right down. You want to go ahead and peel your parchment paper down. As it cools, the center may continue to sink a little bit more. But this is going to be complete decadence. We'll be back and I'll show you what we do next. Now we're ready to make the topping for our flourless chocolate cake. I know most people, well, some people will do chocolate ganache. For me, I think that's a little overkill, because you've got a very decadent, rich chocolate cake, and then you're going to top it with something that's even more decadent. To me, it's overkill. So what we're going to make is we're going to make chocolate whipped cream, which will be a contrast, which I think is much better with it. So what you want to do, you have 1 cup of heavy cream in here. And you want to whip it until it just starts to froth a little bit before we add everything else. As you can tell, it's foaming a lot. So we're going to add a tablespoon and a half of cocoa powder and 1/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. And now we're just going to beat this together until stiff peaks form. Okay, now we have beautiful chocolate whipped cream. And you know it's ready.
Prove it. I don't believe you.
You know it's ready when you have stiff peaks sticking up like that, and you can do this.
Yep. She's my reflection. As I lick beaters.
So now we're ready to cut a piece of that beautiful cake and put on some of this chocolate whipped cream and taste it.
Okay, now I get the joy of being the guinea pig for this. Now look, if I kill over, don't eat this, okay?
Stop it.
I don't think I'm gonna kill over. If I kill over, you won't be watching this video. Wow. That's amazing. I strongly urge you to let me know if you make this. And I'll come over and I'll rescue you from having to eat this. I'll take the whole thing with me so you don't have to eat it, because I'd hate for you to have to enjoy this cake the way I do. Holy heck. Wow. That's amazing. That's simply amazing.
Does it melt in your mouth?
Yes, it's Angela. I think you're smarter and smarter every day. I gotta be honest with you. It's such an amazing creation that she's never done before. By the way, the only time she's ever done this is just right here. So it's simply amazing. Make it, enjoy it. You won't be disappointed at all. So hey, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Comment. Let us know if you're making it. Let us know if you enjoyed it. If you think it looks good. If you think I should take bigger bites. Anything. I don't care. So my name is Jason. The genius back there behind the camera is Angela Kay. We appreciate you guys watching. We love you. God bless you and goodbye.